Hi guys, hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is Sio's Lifestyle for those who are new to the channel, and my name is Sionela Makula. You guys are more than welcome to call me Sio for short. So on today's video, I've done it a bit differently. That's because I've vlogged a little bit at the start of this video, and then towards the end there's a sit down. So today is a Saturday, and I went and attended an auction with my partner David, as you guys would know him in the channel. So I decided to attend an auction where they sell cars. That is the Bidvest auction that they had this Saturday at 10:30 this morning. So I attended with him, just to see some cars and to see what's there, because he has attended this auction by himself previously, and he told me that, you know what, cars are so affordable there. Cars are really affordable. Like, I was there today, guys. A lot of the cars, you can get a car for like 50k. You can get a car for, even other people were getting cars for 30k. Others were getting cars, but most of the cars, I can say, they are below 100k, right? And the nice thing about that auction, they offer financing, or if you want to buy cash, you can buy cash. Or if you want to buy, let's say if a car is 50k, then you can obviously do half finance and then half half cash. So you can do 50-50. If you don't have enough money, put like 25,000 rand and then only finance the 25,000 rand. But they also did share a bit of information, like obviously to partake in the auction. And I must say this, guys, in order to attend the auction, you don't have to have paid a deposit or paid a fee upfront. I believe that David has like attended that auction prior. Yeah, he has attended it prior. So he first went there, and you know, there wasn't any deposit, or he didn't have an intention to bid or anything, you know, to bid for a car, anything. He was just there because other people are there sometimes to spectate and to see what's happening, you know, before they commit, and so on and so forth. So for those maybe who are interested, let's say maybe if you're someone, you know, that you might be interested in buying a car soon, or you know someone who wants to buy a car, or maybe in the near future. And I think to get a car on auction, it is, I would say, something that now I have seen, and I can see that it's definitely possible, and I can see most of the cars are more affordable. And the cars they sell there, these are cars that have been sold by people to the auction, could have been fully paid, and the person decides, you know what, I need some cash, let me go sell my car, I've paid it. Or some of the cars have been repossessed by the bank, right? From the owners who have failed to pay the failed to pay. Maybe they've missed some installments, and then the bank takes the car back, right? So those are the cars that they had there, repossessed cars, or cars, some of the old cars that were sold by the owners, and so on and so forth. So those were up for sale. And I must say they have like a variety of old cars, new cars, and there was just a variety. And I saw one amazing thing is that some cars, guys, like the price when you're going there on an auction, it's so much lower. It's sold at a lower value than when you go and buy at the, should I say, car dealers, if I can put it like that. I saw a couple of people, you can see that these are business people. They are buying cars there, and then they go and sell. Other people are selling on Facebook Market. Other people are, you know, they have like their own businesses. They sell privately, and so on and so forth. But obviously some of the cars are like secondhand. In fact, most of those cars, or should I say all the cars, were secondhand cars. And some come with a service book, or some don't come with a service book. So it's a matter of, you always have to preview or go check the car out, read and understand what you're getting, because they have a website, you can register online, they give the details. And then also when you go there on the auction, they're telling you a bit about the car. But I think it's important to go see the car for yourself, get the keys if you can, start the car, you know, see, because obviously you can't test drive the car, so there's always an element of risk. But it's a matter of understanding the kind of car you want, or the brand, and looking at the mileage. And for me, I always am someone, if I were to buy a second-hand car, I would rather go for something that has a service history or a service book, because at least you sort of know, you know, if the car has been serviced, or and so on and so forth. And also they do have other cars that don't have that service history. So it just depends. So I thought, you know what, to just take you along with me, and you guys are going to see that vlog. It's just a short mini vlog, take you along with me when we went to the auction today. So I've vlogged that, it's included on this vlog. That's going to be the next part after this intro, and then the last part of this vlog is going to be the sit down video, where this sit down video I shot it sometime earlier on this week, just explaining about balloon payments. I know a lot of people, you know, often are not so sure, don't understand really properly what a balloon payment is when they go for car financing. So I just explained a little bit what it is and some of the options that are there to settle a balloon payment, or, you know, maybe when is it advisable to take a balloon payment and when it's not advisable. So that's what's going to be covered on this video. I hope you do enjoy this video. Please don't forget to like the video, comment, and please do share if you can. And thank you so much. Let's get right on this video.
Make your way to the stand or the podium. Next 3 minutes to kick off the auction. If you could please make your way to the podium. Thank you. Piano morning's auction. Firstly, we're selling vehicles on behalf of Standard Bank, on behalf of HAPSA, on behalf of the credit group of Bidvest itself. All vehicles going under the hammer are going exclusive of VAT. All vehicles are subjected to a documentation fee of 2,500 Rand. 1.4, lovely looking vehicle here, where we're gonna go. Look in the port, ladies and gentlemen, looks the port, clean as a whistle. Stunning looking car, interior is lekker. Where we're gonna go? City Golf Chico. Guys, don't you remember your first time chilling with 32,000 Rand? Wow, I am amazed. You should just buy it and park it in your garage. I promise you, it's worth a lot of money. One day soon. Moving on, lot number 3 now, 2015 now, Ford Figo. It's a 1.5 trend, 1.5 trend in general retails here. And about 110,000 Rand at the it's an all looking the part. Lovely looking vehicle here for you. Looks the part. Nonetheless, lot number 9 now 2019 of all H2 now 1.5 luxury 132,000 on the clock, retailing at 220,000 rands. Ladies.
So today I'm going to be talking about car finance. I just want to discuss the concept of balloon payments. I know a lot of people, when they hear the word balloon payment, you know, it just feels like, makes them, I don't know, feel some type of way. You know, other people, they always think that balloon payments are a bad thing. You know, there's just a whole lot they think about when it comes to that. But I just want to share what is a balloon payment for the people who don't know. Also, you know, whether it just depends whether it's good or bad. So I just want to share some insight into that. Maybe you are someone who is considering buying a car, or you know someone who wants to buy a car through finance, but they're not sure whether they need to take the car with or without the balloon payment. So this is the kind of video that you may want to watch, or you may want to share to someone. And this kind of video is just going to give them information that can help them make an informed decision about what a balloon payment is, and you know how they can go about deciding whether to include the balloon payment or to not include the balloon payment in their car finance. So yeah, let's get right into this video. Firstly, a balloon payment, it's like a deposit. It's like a deposit, or others even call it a residual value. A balloon payment is normally paid at the end of the finance contract. So as we know, cars are roughly financed over 6 years. Currently, you know, in South Africa, I don't know about in other countries, but which means that, so they're financed over roughly 6 years. So which means you would pay your monthly installments. Once you are done paying your last monthly installment, the balloon payment will be due at the end of that last monthly installment, right? So the only thing is that, unlike a deposit, a balloon payment is paid at the end of the financing period, or at the end of the 6 years, right? But a deposit is paid upfront. Balloon payment is normally roughly about 30% the value of the car. So I'm just gonna make some figures, just give some figures as an example. So let's say the finance is 300,000. If the finance is 300,000, and I'll just make an example, from 300,000 car finance, we are paying, I'm just making rough examples, guys, just roughly. You decide about, okay, you'll pay 7.5, you're gonna pay 7.5 monthly for 6 years. That is without a balloon payment. But if you are to take a balloon payment, right, what they do is that they take that 300,000 and they take out 30%, right, of the 300,000. That's the 30% will serve as a balloon payment. So 30% of 300,000, let's say roughly 90,000 rand, 90,000 rand. So 300,000 minus 90,000 rand, you are left with 210,000, right? So which means the 210,000 over interest rate, depending whether you get prime plus, prime minus, or prime, they take that, they calculate what the interest rate is, and then you are given a monthly installment. And now, just bear in mind that this value, the 210, is less than the 300,000, right? So which means your installment is going to be less. On the 300,000, we said that the installment will be roughly about, let's say maybe 7.5 as an example. It depends on the interest rate they give you. And then now with 210, your installment will be maybe 6 point something. So you pay that monthly, you are paying a lesser installment. You pay that monthly over the 6-year period. And then at the end of 6 years, you have 90,000 rand that is waiting for you to settle before the car ownership can transfer to you from the bank. I hope you guys get me. So basically, what a balloon payment does, it definitely does lower your monthly installment. Okay, it lowers your monthly installment, but you have a lump sum that is generally about 30% of the loan value due at the end of the car finance. That is when you take car finance with a balloon payment. But without a balloon payment, that means your monthly installment is roughly higher, and the difference is generally plus minus 1,000 rand. So it just depends. So now, let's say maybe you decide to take a car with a balloon payment, right? Which means you're gonna pay lesser installment every single month. What are your options? What are your options in terms of settling that 90K? or how do you plan on settling the 90K, or what options do you have? So now guys, with the explanation I've given you now, so how does one choose whether to take car finance with or without the balloon payment? It literally depends. And I'm saying it depends on a variety of factors. It depends. And I'm just going to give you like a few factors maybe that can help someone choose on whether to select car finance with or without a balloon payment. Other people may take a car with a balloon payment because they want to lessen the pressure on their current monthly budget, right? They want to drive, a certain car, and with this car, maybe they feel like if I pay, like as I made, 6,000 is what I can afford in order to have less pressure on my other, on my current budget, and still be able to afford like just normal living and just a normal life. So they decide to take the financing with the balloon payment, right? So which means they are choosing the balloon payment in order to pay a lower car installment for the next 6 years, right? Which means just so that there's less pressure on the budget. That's why a lot of people would do them. There's less pressure on the budget, and you're driving the car that you want and whatever, but you're paying less every month. So which means you'd probably say, okay, I'd rather take a car with the balloon payment. Another reason why someone would take a car with a balloon payment, let's say maybe they know there are some people, guys, and I know people who have done it. Other people can choose to buy a car, like a really, really nice car. And they know that they want to drive like a really nice car. Maybe they're planning on driving that car for 5-6 years, right? Or maybe for 3 years. Other people do that. Sometimes people get cars for business, whether it's for Uber or for anything. They get a car for 5-6 years, or they know like for a certain period of time, or you want to enjoy like a nice Mercedes, but you want to pay lower for it. But you know that this car, maybe you're not planning on keeping it long. There are other people who change cars, it happens. So they know that maybe down the line, they're going to trade in the car. So which means if you know you're going to trade in the car, it's also advisable that, you take it with the balloon payment, because it means that for the 4 or 5 years you're driving the car, you're going to pay a lesser installment. And generally, when you trade in the car, in fact, I know that all the time when you trade in the car, that balloon payment falls away. Sometimes there could be like a shortfall, but that's something that we can talk about in a separate video. So when you trade in the car, that balloon payment will fall away, and then maybe you take another car, or a less expensive car, or something else, or a car maybe that you can afford its maintenance down the line. Because sometimes people take luxury cars, or they buy luxury cars to enjoy them for like 5 years or 4 years, and then they know that once the service plan of this car is done, or it's expired, or it's finished, then they know that they're not going to keep that car, because they know that it's going to be too expensive for them to maintain that car. So they would rather trade it in and get a car that is more easier to maintain, for example, and a little bit more affordable. But at least they have enjoyed driving their, their favorite car, and yeah. So basically, those are some of the examples why someone would take a car with a balloon payment to lower the installment, or if they know that they're going to trade in the car after a couple of years, so they're not intending on keeping this car. They know they just need it for a couple of years. So it's, why not put in a balloon payment, because you're going to pay less, and that balloon payment is going to fall away when you're going to trade in the car, right? Now we're going to talk about some of the options that people have on how to settle the balloon payment should they take car financing with a balloon payment, right? So some of the examples, other people, obviously, I think a lot of people get car finance. People can't afford to buy cars cash, right? They get cars through car financing, because they generally the working class, and that's what they can afford, the monthly repayments, right? So other people who are the working class, sometimes they get bonuses at work once a year. So let's say this balloon payment, as we made an example of 90,000 Rand. So basically, so you take that 90,000 and then divide it over the 6 years, right? When you divide it over the 6 years, then whatever you get, I'm just going to take like a rough figure. Maybe let's say it's 18,000 Rand or 20,000 Rand. You decide you are going to pay every year that towards the balloon payment. So in other words, other people can pay the lower monthly installment of 6,000 rand instead of paying 7.5 without the balloon payment, but with the balloon they pay 6,000 rand so that they can have like less pressure on their budget, and then once a year they can put in an extra payment towards the balloon payment, pay an extra payment towards the bank, whether it's 15,000 or 20,000, whatever they decide on, from their maybe side hustles, from their annual deposits. So you can always throw in an extra money towards the balloon payment. If you know you are someone who wants to settle that car at the end of 6 years, you want to settle it and you want the car to transfer to you and you're planning on keeping it for a couple of years, then that is an option to put in extra payments, maybe from your annual bonus or from side hustles, or whenever you have a bit of extra cash. So that's a way of settling the balloon payment. Another way, as we discussed previously, it's when you trade in the car, trading in the car, but it's advisable to rather do the trade in after 3 years, 3.5 years, 4 years. That is when it's most likely that there is not going to be a shortfall. Trade in the car, that balloon payment also gets settled, as long as there's no shortfall, right? Another way is other people may save towards the balloon payment. Let's say the difference is like 1.7, you may save that money and then you keep that money aside, and then when it comes at the end of the 6 years, you can take that saving and then you put it towards the balloon payment. However, if you can afford to save 1.5, then you might as well pay 7.5, especially if you know you have the intention of keeping the car. Because I feel like sometimes when you just have money lying around, it's not for everyone. It's not easy to save for everyone. Not everyone finds it easy, right, to save. So if you can afford to save 1.5, I feel like you might as well just pay 7.5 and get a car finance without the balloon payment, and know that at the end of the 6 years, there's no huge lump sum waiting for you, right? Let's say you are unable to save some extra money, you don't get bonuses from work, you don't trade in the car, or you decide, I want to keep this car, but now I have this balloon payment waiting for me. Another option is to refinance that balloon payment. Refinancing the balloon payment, so it means that you have been paying this 6,000 right now. You have been managing, you have been paying, you've done great for the 6 years, and now you want to keep your car, and you took that car with the balloon payment, and you have that 90K or 90,000 rand waiting for you at the end of the 6 years. Now, you have an option to refinance that balloon payment. To refinance means you go to the bank at the end of the 6 years, and then you say to them, you want to keep this car, but you don't have the 90,000 rand upfront, or you don't have the 90,000 rand to pay immediately in order to settle the balloon payment. So then you say to them, maybe can they please allow you to repay that 90,000 rand over a period of 12 months. I'm making an example, right? Which means they would take that 90,000 rand, divide by 12, and then you would pay that over a year. So which means that your car financing period has been extended by an extra year in order to cover up or to settle that balloon payment. I hope I'm making sense. So yeah, so those are some of the options that you have with regards to settling that balloon payment if you opt for a car financing with a balloon payment. Now, I think, guys, from what I've shared, you can see that a balloon payment is not all like as bad as other people make it seem. It literally depends on the individual. It depends on the plan, on the plans they have with the car, why they took the car in the first place. Like I said, if you're planning on keeping the car, and maybe you feel you want to pay less, or you want less pressure on your budget, then you can take it, but there's options on how you can settle that balloon payment. And if you feel like you're buying this car, you want to keep this car, and if you can afford to pay that extra plus minus 1,000 rand or 1.5, depending on the difference between the two options, a car finance with the balloon payment or without the balloon payment, then if you can afford to pay that extra 1,000 rand, it depends. Then why not just take the car without the balloon payment because you can afford it, right? You can afford it. And now I'm going to bring it back home. For me, when I took my first car, it was also a Hyundai. It was an i20. When I took my first car, I had a balloon payment there. I had a balloon payment because it was my first car and I had to get that car while I was doing articles. I traded in that car and then I took a smaller car, and my current car, there is no balloon payment. And that's because I can afford it a little bit better, like to pay extra. I can afford to pay that difference, or that 1,000 Rand, right? Yeah, so that's just for me. But when I took the car back then, I was an article clerk. I could not afford to pay that extra 1,000 Rand. I wanted to pay less. And I knew that in 4 or 5 years to come, I knew that I was not going to keep that car because I traveled so much with it. So I knew that. And I knew that, I'd probably, if I wanted to keep the car, either way, I'd probably be able to afford to settle it off some type of, or pay extra, and pay for an extra year and pay a little bit more in order to settle the balloon payment. But my current one doesn't have a balloon payment because I could afford to pay a little bit extra, because obviously I'm no longer an article clerk, right? Based on this video, someone can see, or they can tell that it just depends. When you're getting a car, what you need to ask yourself is, are you planning on keeping that car in the long term? Can you afford to pay a little bit extra, an extra 1,000 Rand, an extra 1.5? If you can afford to pay that, I would advise you to say then, rather do not take the balloon payment because you can afford that extra 1,000 Rand or 1.5 every year. Rather do not put in a balloon payment there, right? Rather pay extra from the get-go, so that at the end of 6 years. But if you want this car, but you know that you might actually trade it in, or maybe you want to drive it for a few years, or maybe you're not even sure. Maybe you might keep it, you might not keep it, but you don't want too much pressure on the budget, right? I would say you can consider putting in a balloon payment there so that you pay less, because maybe you're not so sure. What is the plan? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to trade it in? Are you going to keep? You're not sure. Maybe you might put, and you know that you can't really afford to pay that little extra 1,000 Rand or 1.5. And let's be honest, 1,000 Rand or 1.5, it can help a bit in this economy to have that extra cash flow, rather than put a lot of pressure for you in your budget. For other people, I think it definitely does make a difference. So it just depends. And I believe you have like 6 years to figure out what you want to do. And if you decide to keep it and you have the balloon payment, the options I've already shared with you, what options you have and how you can go about settling it. And yeah, so I hope you guys have learned something from this, and I hope if you are considering getting a car, you will make the right decision. A lot can change in 6 years. A lot can change. You can end up getting a job or finding other ways of making money, that if you want to keep the car, you can literally be able to settle that balloon payment, or you can opt for the refinancing option. And maybe by that time, maybe you're already on another job, or you're earning some extra income some other way, you can afford to just refinance and pay a little bit more and settle it in that following year, or in the 7th year rather. So yeah, I hope this video was useful. Please don't forget to like this video. Please don't forget to drop a comment if there's anything you need me to clarify on. Thank you so much, guys, for the love and support. I really do appreciate y'all, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.